emotional connection. Sometimes we see, when we work with couples, you see they are living together, they are doing every other thing together, but they are in two separate worlds. So they can be in the same physical environments, you know, they're going to church, they're wearing uniform, they're combining colors, but emotionally speaking, they are completely disconnected. And sometimes some of this situation like this does not happen immediately, does not happen once. It's a progress, something that has happened over a period of time. So for example, the wife wants to say something, they are trying to make a purchase, maybe like something serious, and she's trying to make suggestions like, oh no, what do you know? You know, I don't know. When we're talking about construction, what idea does a woman have to something some time ago? Someone said for every negative comment, you have to make at least 8 to 10 positive comments to remove the impact of the first comment you make to someone. Some of us here, we don't have the kind of relationship we could have had with our parents because of some of the words they said, some of the way they parented us. In their mind, they are doing the best thing. Some parents had this belief system when we were growing up to say, if you praise a child, it will get into their head. So no matter what the child does, they will always say something smacky, something negative, like, what is this? I mean, you got this, are you the first person? You say things that cuts the child's esteem. But your intention is right. Your intention is to inspire the child to do better, but the approach is wrong. So sometimes we have couples who are trying to encourage their partners to do the best, but the approach is wrong. So one thing we found out is that intentions are not enough when it comes to building emotional intimacy.
Okay, and I think just to talk about the components of emotional intimacy, what makes up emotional intimacy, we would have one, sharing. So when we talk about sharing, we're big on the word disclosure. You know, so you have couples sometimes who are together in the relationship, in the marriage, and there's no sharing. One person is either not comfortable to air what he or she truly thinks for many reasons. Sometimes they feel they might be judged, they might be criticized, or what they have to say may be discounted. You know, so you could have that situation. So you unconsciously train your spouse not to open up, not to air what they truly think. Or it's possible that in the past they spoke out and what they shared was used against them. So in that way, they're trained not to speak. Another component of emotional intimacy would be caring. You know, sometimes as spouses, we get to the point where we get so used to each other. You know, we often would say, they say familiarity breeds contempt. But what would else often say? Familiarity breeds intimacy. It should breed intimacy. It is expected that if I have lived with him, if I have known him for a number of years, I should know what turns him off. I should know what would endear me to him.
If it's our house and I'm doing something, am I helping actually? It's our house. So in a situation like that, we might find ourselves whereby we are no longer empathetic because you are thinking, after all, that's what a woman should be doing. That's what a man should be doing. You know, there are women who earn more than their husbands, but they will never contribute a dime because they think the man should do everything, even in this progressive economy, that one income is no longer insufficient to carry the whole house, to pay the mortgage, to do XYZ, to send money back home, to do this, to do that, to do this. But the woman thinks, my money is my money, your money is our communal money. It's so that mindset, even though it's not scriptural, they create all kind of stuff to back it up. So sometimes we have to decide, do we have a cultural marriage or a Christian marriage? Because they are different. Sometimes they look similar, but they are hugely different. So that is one issue. So that is not caring. So in a situation whereby if baby is crying and the man is like, I need to sleep, I have a long day tomorrow. And those kind of subtle, small things, they register in the mind of the woman to say, you know what, I'm in this all by myself. So you now get to that point where the woman is now, you know what, the woman begins to live a parallel life, live in a parallel universe where she's deciding and doing things without engaging And so you now begin to sense disconnection. And that disconnection begins to grow like this. If I have any mathematician in the room, and an aeroplane is supposed to be on a certain line trajectory, but it keeps moving 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. If it continues like that, it will find itself in a completely different country. And that's what happens. So people wake up one day and say, "Oh, I don't even know how I married this guy. I can't," but it was never like that. In the beginning, it was not so. Let me say that. So that's emotional intimacy. That's caring. That's sharing.
Connection.
Connection is such a powerful part. Because we are so busy, most of us are in a certain phase of our life where we are trying to build a legacy. We're trying to build something that our children will inherit. We're trying to build maybe a ministry, a church, a career, something that we can look back many years from now, retire, certainly retirement. I don't mean when you stop working. I mean when you can get to that point where what you have generated can now sustain you. That's what I mean by retirement. You know, where you have built enough assets whereby what you have created can sustain your quality of life. That's what I mean by retirement. That's what most of us are focusing, many people are focusing on. But in the process of doing that, sometimes we neglect emotional contacts. You know, you want to touch your wife, you say, please, just leave me. I have a lot on my head. I saw one particular video on Instagram, and the woman was washing, she was trying to do the dishes, and she was thinking, oh, I need to prepare meal for the baby, I need to do this, I need to do that. She had many activities all playing up in her mind. And they played the same thing for a guy doing it. He's just thinking of, oh, I need to do this and go and watch football. So in a woman's head, she's doing one thing, she's thinking about 1,001,000 times. Sometimes you want to touch, oh, is it sexy once? Oh, please, I don't have time. But the man may just want to connect. He may not want anything sexual. So physical touch, emotional touch. So the question now is, how do we build connection with ourselves? Some of the things that we do is this. Before we make any decision, we consult with each other. We want to make a purchase. I'll give an example, for example. One day when we wanted to buy our TV, you know, I saw this lovely TV that I liked. I was looking at it, I said, I have to convince her. So I was trying to convince her it was a particular inch, you know, massive one. So after I convinced her on that, then I saw a slightly larger inch. You know us guys now, we like gadgets, you know, the bigger, the glossier, the better. Then I saw a bigger inch. I was like, the price is not so different. What are we doing this? This is a bargain. And then I thought about the duration of having to convince her. She's already said yes for these inches now. It's not, you just the next level. And I bought it. When the thing delivered, my wife saw it. My wife said, that's a watch that we use in our house. But this is not what we agreed. The thing hit me below the belt. I couldn't wriggle out of it. Because we have a policy. We don't do certain things without agreement. That's why we are in sync. So nothing pops out from nowhere that shocks her or that shocks me. I am in the know of how much she's sending back home. I am sending back. We do it jointly. Everything is agreed. It might look slower, but on the long haul, it adds value, it has benefits. When you see couple in sync, that, you know, that's, I know it may not be appropriate to say it here, but that's one thing I see about Pastor Philip and Pastor Bola. You can see that, you can see a woman that is sold out to the husband's vision. You can see the way she carries it on her head. You'll be like, everything she does, she's calling you. I'm like, but that's an aside. Sorry for digressing. But I'm telling you that this is one thing we admire in them. We may not know all the couples here, but like, I mean, when we see something which you are, we should celebrate it. You know, you can see people that are, so these are some of the prices that people pay to have that thing that other people look and appreciate. You know, if you have a friend that we are, in quote, gelling with, what happens? It's because you have years of history, of connection, of intimacy, of connecting, of talking over a period of time. So these are some of the things that we do to connect. Another thing we do is that we run projects together. We do ministry together. So before we do anything, we're constantly talking. We're constantly in sync. We're constantly talking. We're constantly engaged with one another. So that means we have different touch points, you know, during the day. So that's why conflict for us doesn't last a lot because I have to make a decision. I have to come and consult with her. And we wear color combinations sometimes, you know? So before I choose what to wear, I have to ask her, this is the true enough. Ask her, what did she wear to decide? So there are many touch points.